Welcome back, everyone, to Four Eyes, the podcast series that gives you a clear view into the optometry world across Canada and the US. And welcome back to our happy hour episode. This is the only time we're dressed up. We look good. We probably smell fresh. We will never know. And we always try our best to have a drink in our hands. But of course, we get lazy. So only some of us have drinks. Some of us don't.
Cheers,
I got my
Everett. It's
lemonade.
me and you.
Yeah, me and Rav are dedicated this season. So we can all go around before we start. We can share just what we're drinking. So who wants to go first?
Well, mine will be the
Kinda already
easiest. I have tea.
Oh, God.
That was a
Tea.
big thing of tea. Pink lemonade.
Which isn't spiked, and we're pretty sad about that.
It tastes like it's spiked because it's real sour, but you know.
Is it actually from Starbucks, or is that just in a Starbucks cup?
No, I just use their cup.
I am drinking some red wine. I think this is a Merlot. Ajin and I are trying our best to find as many California wines now that we're back in Toronto, because we just miss California. So this is the only way I can relive my memories, you know?
And I'm drinking Coors Light in a
Ooh.
Guinness mug.
Ooh, contradictory drink.
I was gonna drink Guinness actually, but then it's kind of heavier beer.
Yeah, I don't
And-
know. I'm not a fan of Guinness. It's a little too.
I have my moments. With Guinness.
I can have Guinness for dinner. Let's just say that. And that's
Yeah.
it. Like that's
No.
that could fill me up. And I'm like, all right, I'm full of energy and good to go for the evening on a Guinness. So it's extremely heavy.
It is, yeah.
I actually want to start this episode with just something about our podcast for this season. Just like wrapping up the end of our season before we all talk about ourselves. I'm really impressed that our top 5 episodes, as of today, so in what month is it? May 2021. 3 of our top 5 episodes are from this season, which I think is really cool. And I'm actually really impressed with the topics. So our most listened to episode is the psychology of optometry with Dr. Richard Maharaj. That has the most downloads, most listened to podcast. Second is the alternative spectacle therapy for amblyopia. So with Dr. Donati, that is our second most listened to podcast. And that was
I'm not
literally
surprised though.
right?
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised because when we recorded that, even myself, I was like really shocked with the new therapy she's talking about, and like it changed the way I thought about BV and I thought about amblyopia and patching. So I started using her methods in clinic.
Really?
I did, yeah.
Cool.
And so I'm not surprised that a lot of people were interested in that episode.
And even
think-
with Dr. Maharaj's episode,
Mhm.
that was also a new concept that no one was really talking about. Like,
yeah.
I don't think
just
anyone really
mentally.
thought about personalities of optometrists and how that affects how we practice. So
Mhm.
I think that was a really new concept. And at the time, I feel like everyone was kind of feeling burnout and
Yeah.
just, being overworked at clinic or life in general. So I think that was a really good mental health episode too.
Yeah. And I feel like Dr. Maharaj is always like the one to go to when you feel like you're burnt out. You just go to him, and literally like the talks we have with him is so, it just makes you feel better. It doesn't make you feel alone. Like that
Yeah.
you're, it doesn't make you feel like you're the only one struggling with,
Yes.
whatever issues are going on. Our third most listened to episode still to this day is our holiday happy hour.
No.
I think we still don't understand what makes it so popular. I don't
What
know.
did we do in that episode?
I think we did.
We
the
had
Never Have I
backgrounds.
Ever.
We had Zoom
yeah, yeah.
backgrounds.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And
what
I
did we
think,
talk about in that episode? I think we talked about.
we did the Never Have I Ever
Oh
theme.
yes.
Yeah, I think it's because we Deepon, I think once said maybe it's because we all had makeup on and we looked.
Yeah, you know, like, I know, because we also had a lot of views on, I think,
The
Instagram on that,
Instagram,
and it's
yeah.
like, yo, that lipstick from all of us. That's what everyone's like. What is this lip? What is this color that's popping on all these people here? Let me just click that real quick.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
know.
Maybe it was the never have I ever. I mean, you guys, everyone listening should definitely let us know what what the best parts are of our episodes or the topics and the things that we talk about. Because honestly, like these happy hour episodes, we kind of just go in blind and are just like, all right,
And then, like,
let's
these happy
talk
hour
for 50
episodes,
minutes.
I feel like these happy hour episodes are more for us later
They
on
are,
in life
definitely,
than for
yes.
anybody else. Because to be honest, when I look back at our episodes, I listen to our happy hour episodes and I'll listen to
Me
the
too.
whole thing, and I'll laugh along as we're
Me too.
talking, as if I have like you guys are there and I'm listening to myself and laughing and I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
this is so weird. But I think it's more for us like later in the future where we're like, oh, what were we doing like
Yeah.
so long ago? So that's how I take it. I mean, because for anyone listening who knows about these happy hour episodes, you will learn absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, there's no educational
Well, you will
value
learn
to
about
these
us.
episodes.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
going to be learning about our wonderful selves. So, because we're just talking about ourselves the entire time, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's just basically our catch up session, and we'll just air it for everyone else to hear.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think okay, sorry. Let me get back to this. Okay, so our fourth most listened to episode is still cataract post-surgical care with Dr. Pizer.
Mm.
And I kind of feel like that's probably really listened to because we don't really talk about cataracts and cataract surgery that often. This is like the only episode we have. And when I think about all of the other optometry podcasts I listen to, actually maybe recently there's been a few more about like IOLs and cataract surgery in general, but I feel like it's not talked about very, very often. So maybe it's because
And
this is such a rare topic.
And it's something that we see literally every day. Is
Yeah.
another thing.
Yes.
Well, I feel like a lot of those listens came from Jazz Deep or Optoturban because he told us, he's like, I listened to that episode like 30 or 40 times before work. So I just wanted to make sure that I got everything in that episode. But
shout out to Jazz Deep.
Yes.
Yeah, I
True
know.
fan right there. True
True
fan.
fan.
And then Rav, our
Oh.
fifth most listened to episode is our new grad case reflection of the recurrent anterior uveitis. So, and I
that was
you know
shared a
what?
lot. Yeah.
I think that episode really sparked a lot of conversation and discussion on Instagram too, through stories on the post. A lot of people shared that just with the information that they were shocked about, like the homatropine.
Yes.
And so yeah, good job on that one.
That was where I felt the biggest disconnect between States and Canada was when I had my first uveitis patient and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I prescribed matropine. The pharmacist calling me saying, hey, this is not available here.
Yeah.
And I felt like, holy shit, I don't know what I'm doing. That was my moment where I was like, okay, like.
But apparently it's not in the US either because Jennifer Lyerly, Dr. Lyerly also mentioned that why is Rav talking about homatropine? That's not available in the US either. What are schools teaching you guys?
Yeah.
Well, it must have been available when
like
we
a
were
while.
We were studying because even when we did our boards, homatropine was on like boards.
Yeah.
Like that was the treatment. So like, of course, that's the only thing I remember.
Congrats, Rav. You made it a top 5 all by yourself.
No.
So proud of you. Yeah, I just wanted to share that because I think every time we have a happy hour, yes, we want to get drunk. Yes, we want to talk about ourselves and be selfish, but we do want to kind of reminisce on the previous season that we just had and just show off and be proud that, we made it through another season. We got really good content out. We got really good feedback from a lot of our listeners, which again, we love to get because we really want to know how to improve, how to keep going. So yeah, thanks
And we
for
got our
everyone. Oh,
first
sorry.
sponsorship.
Sorry,
Thanks
what?
to IMED. I said we got her first sponsorship. Thanks to IMED.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to sponsor us, don't hesitate.
Yeah, FYI for
Yes.
anyone who's new to our podcast, anyone who's been following our podcast for a very long time, again, we are emphasizing we are self-made for female optometrists who put in our own time, our own money into making this podcast, for you guys. We give up our nights, even though there's huge time zone differences. We spend hours editing the podcast, making the content, putting up the stories, and we do it all on our own. And a year later, for us to get a sponsorship with the company, shout out to IMED Pharma. They believe in us, they support us, and that means the world to us. And even if we don't make any more money with any more sponsorships, we'll still do this because all of our listeners are really supportive. And that's just what we love about doing our podcast.
Mhm. And we welcome donations.
Oh, but we do. We
Donate
actually are
us,
starting to take those now.
some alcohol for our happy hours, man.
Oh, we could take alcohol donations. That's a really
Right?
good idea.
You know how people like sponsor you like meals or drinks? Ooh,
Wait, would that be weird if an alcoholic company sponsored an episode?
That's a
okay?
really
I
good
don't think.
idea.
First of all, I don't think any big company is going to sponsor us because
I know.
we have like 2,000 followers.
Can you imagine like us sending emails to
No.
whatever
Yeah.
Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Light? Like, hi, we're an optometry podcast with 200 listeners and 2,000 followers. Would you like to sponsor us and give us $1 million for our happy hours? We're
And
Canadian.
I'm sure Corona is pretty desperate. I'm sure Corona would be like, yes, please. We need any advertisement. We need any of our beers taken.
Why are they becoming bankrupt? What's wrong
No.
with Corona?
Remember
Oh.
last year, everyone stopped drinking Corona just because of coronavirus?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
I
don't remember this?
Oh, I don't even.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rav
So I
was
think
going to
we
ask
can
her question.
transition to Rav's like questions.
Yeah.
More
Oh,
like, to get
okay,
to know
Rav.
us.
So, what was your guys' highlight of the week?
I probably told you guys my highlight when we spoke earlier this week. I think mine for this week was I had a patient, like a 3-year-old, come in with his dad, and they came in specifically to see me for a second opinion for his refractive error or like amblyopia. So I just kind of felt like me, like I'm the specialist, me. And, I felt like, okay, the residency was definitely worth it now. Like now that I'm online, I'm there. People can, Google my name or Google whatever. And if I show up, they know that their kid is in good hands. So yeah, that was the first time anyone's ever come to see me for a second opinion. I felt pretty good about that. That was my
That's
win.
good. You got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
I think the highlight of my week is probably the warm weather. So
that
I
was
think
gonna be
it-
mine, Rav.
okay, fine. I'll use it. I'll do a different one. You can use that
No,
one.
Rab, stop being such a pushover.
No,
say your,
it's
say
okay.
your
I have
highlight.
two. I have two.
Him too.
Okay, fine.
I have two. Okay. So my highlight of the week was probably, well, this was last week, but whatever. Was probably a hike that me and Harv did.
I was gonna say that
Jasper?
your vacation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we did a little getaway last weekend, so kind of this week. And we were in Jasper for a couple of days, and we just did a lot of outdoor stuff. So we did like hikes, we did horseback riding.
Yeah.
So that was probably my highlight of the week. It was really nice.
My highlight of the week it was the nice weather. We finally had some sun.
Yep.
Calgary and Lethbridge, they get a lot of sun through the spring and summer. So we actually started, or me and my family actually started barbecuing finally.
Ooh.
And I'm actually going to start planting some like vegetables this summer that I'm really excited
So
about.
cute.
Yeah, like I know I'm an old person now, but I'm
Damn
like,
it,
you
Devon!
No, me too.
You stole mine. Damn it, Devon! And even the feeling old. I was gonna say that too.
oh my god, no,
Oh my god! Damn it!
no, seriously.
Why is that old?
Alex, say it
Everyone's
too.
planting
Say
right
it
now.
too.
That's literally the trend. Everyone's planting. All the influencers on
No,
social media are planting
okay.
too.
That's not what I see on TikTok nowadays. Nobody's planting
But everyone on
vegetables.
TikTok is 16. Why they don't?
Yo,
They can't
Dr.
plant.
Harbir Cyan's on TikTok. I don't know if he's
Dr. Harbir Cyan is like, he's not human. Okay, he can just like navigate any sort of social
Yeah,
media
true.
all
Can
on
do
his
any
own.
social media.
Yeah.
No, but I'm really excited because I planted tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchinis. What else? Oh, cherry tomatoes.
Mm.
My dad is doing an apple tree. We're just planting everything in our backyard.
Yeah.
nice.
So I don't know what's gonna happen, what's gonna grow, but I feel like when I get my own house, this is like my learning curve time where I'm just gonna learn how to do everything, make a lot of mistakes. And then when I get my own house in my own backyard, I'll just do it properly then, hopefully. But
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it because we got all these like planting beds from Home Depot. And then when I'm in Calgary on the weekends, me and my dad will just geek out over it and be like, oh, he like bought like so much soil and everything. So we'll be
Yeah.
like, all right, let's put the soil in here. So it's the first time I think me and my dad have bonded since I was a baby. So, so I think that's the longest conversation we've had since I was 7 years old. So it's like, so it's exciting.
So Alex, you got to choose something else then.
Or you could just say the same thing, Alex, and say what
Yeah.
you're planting.
Yeah.
I feel like I
Well-
actually started.
I already got an apple tree.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
blossoming.
Actually, so
It's
when
actually
we bought-
this big right now.
when we bought this house, there's 4 apple trees and there's 4 trees in the front that I don't know what they are. And then we also got a greenhouse with it. So I was like, I guess I am forced to plant. And so
I'm jealous of you right now. And I never
Yeah.
thought I'd say that to somebody that I'm jealous of their damn greenhouse.
yeah. So yeah, we have the greenhouse. So we have 5 tomato plants, and then I started like little seeds of them too. And I did tomatoes, radishes, Brussels sprouts because they do really well up here, I guess, and I love them.
Yeah.
Is that all that? Oh, and then I just bought some strawberry like hanging baskets.
Mhm.
And
Ooh.
so after like they like do the hanging part and they have produce the strawberries, what I'm gonna do is plant them in the ground because they'll come back every year.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
You should have like a little vineyard in there and make your own wine.
Right? That would
Yeah.
be good. All
Wait till
good
you
things.
plants actually grow. I remember back in Brampton when my parents were planting, we had a lot of bunnies.
Oh,
They
yeah.
would come and eat all the leaves,
Yeah.
and like they're bunnies, they're so cute. Like you don't want to like
Can't get mad at them.
you can't
That's
get mad
not
at
how
them.
we feel about them anymore. My my family's like, these damn bunnies just ruin everything. They ruin our happiness for these plants. So like I think my mom's trying to buy like these
The little wire cages.
why, but it's not tall enough sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So my mom's like, maybe we should like spray or like, I was like, let's just add one of those electrocuted fences. And my mom's like, don't kill them. I'm like, there's so many damn bunnies running everywhere.
It
Like,
won't
fuck.
kill them. It'll
You're
just
the
shock
community.
them a
Oh
little.
god.
No,
It'll
it
just
like
shock
these are
them.
like bad. Like they're like really shocking. And I was just like, yo, man, I'll die for these plants. Like I want them to grow and survive.
There's settings. You have settings high, medium, low, I'm
Oh
sure.
gosh.
Yeah.
Me and Harv had a
Anywho.
really bad pigeon problem in our old place.
Oh,
We lived like
yeah.
right in the center of downtown. Oh my god, pigeons like lived in our balcony, and no matter what you did,
They wouldn't
you
fly
couldn't
away.
get rid of them. So
'Cause
we
they
bought
know
like
people.
we brought like fake owls and we put them out there because we read that like apparently they're scared of owls.
Yeah.
The pigeons were cuddling our owls. They don't give a shit about anything.
No, dude. I fucking hate birds. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know what that pigeon is probably saying? Like, you know what we've been through, bitch? You think this owl's gonna scare us?
Literally, like when we
Bitch,
used to
that
come
could
out
be
of
the worst shit you've ever seen in your life.
yeah, when we used to come out of the balcony, we thought like the pigeon would get scared and run away, but like it would just stay there. Even when you
just
got
chills there.
close, they scared me. I'm like, yo man, they're gonna attack me one day.
Oh,
I'm not about
okay.
that life.
I don't want to talk about birds anymore.
Okay.
I really
Next
hate
question.
them.
We've talked about the pigoons. The
We
geese.
answered one question
Yeah.
for all of our
This is
listeners.
why, man. I feel
For
like our
all of our-
happy hour, we need like 2 questions and that's it, man.
Yeah.
What did
Okay,
you
Rav.
plant? And what
Yeah.
birds do you? What birds have you crossed paths with this already? Do you know how many old people could answer? There's like 80-year-olds that could be like, oh, let me answer this as well.
Oh
Sorry. Okay,
Okay.
Rav. Okay.
my god.
Next
So
question.
moving on. So, what is one or in general the craziest or most bizarre story of an emergency or walk-in patient you have had?
Oh, I have to think about that.
So,
I have to think of mine.
I think it was last summer. Last summer, I had a patient. He was like 20 years old, and he came in for a red eye emergency. And I was like, okay. Went in, and I was like, as soon as I went in, his eye was literally like right here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So it
like
was
it was
proptosis.
like, yeah, like it was just like, oh no, his like lids were just so swollen.
Oh.
It was so red. Oh my god, it was probably the most traumatic corneal
Mhm.
abrasion I had.
Mhm.
So I was like,
Oh.
okay, like tell me what's happening, what happened. So he's like, so I was drinking last night with a group of friends, and he's like, I took a beer and a beer. You know how you open a beer and a beer? So he did that, and then the beer cap went in his eye, and he got a
Ouch.
huge cut. And he's like, oh, I didn't think it was that bad. And he was like, it was really painful, so I just kept drinking to ease my pain.
Did it work though? I'm sure it did when he passed
Well,
out.
alcohol alleviates all pain. All kinds.
I'm
of
pretty sure there was
things.
other things involved other than alcohol, but
Gosh.
that's probably my most memorable or craziest emergency or walk-in patient I have had.
I feel like with
What
Rav's
happened?
story, I hear that on a pretty much on a daily basis with where I work.
Yeah.
Because most of my clientele are really young, well,
Mhm.
emergency cases, anyways, are really young males that are farmers and who are apparently bored very easily. So they'll be working on projects with no safety eyewear and just be like, yeah, I was doing this. And I'm pretty sure I got something in my eye. I always do. This is not new for me. And when I look, it's like this large piece of metal embedded in their eye.
Oh my
And
god.
they'll wait 2-3 days until they come see an optometrist or go to the emergency room or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, do you not feel any pain? And then the second thing they'll tell me, or they'll pull out Preparacaine and be like, oh, I just use this to ease the pain.
How'd they get that?
They get it off the black market. Like some guy was one time telling me that he was
wow.
like, oh, my friend got it from this other guy who got it from another guy. Some
We actually had our Preparacaine from our office stolen.
Oh yeah, that's probably how people are getting it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
keep
like-
ours, like I keep it in a cabinet just because I think one of our attendings said at ICO, like, don't ever leave it
Mhm.
out. So
Mhm.
now I even do that here because I remember when I first started working here and I saw someone else did it, I was like, yo, I'm just gonna put this somewhere
Mhm.
else.
I don't have like a crazy.
Alex, I'm sure you have some craziness
Yeah.
in Alaska.
Come on, man, Alaska. Bears got
Well-
somebody got attacked by bears, animals.
And the first thing
Hunting.
they're gonna
What
do
about
is let me
hunting?
go to the optometrist after getting attacked by a bear.
There
Or
was
like
one
hunting, like
patient-
people like sometimes like when they're shooting, I guess like the back
recoil.
Mhm.
the trigger, people get injured a lot. Any of those stories?
Yeah, not as much like with eyes. I'd say we don't get as much like hunting. Sometimes fishing. Well, not really fishing either. Usually they'll go to the emergency room. Like if they have a hook on their eyelid or in their eye, something like
Mhm.
that. We did have one patient. Technically, it was my dad's. patient, but this patient runs the Iditarod. You guys know what that is? Dog
Mm-mm.
sledding.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Dog sledding. So they have the sled and then it has like, I don't know, 12 dogs, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
So
okay.
some of their equipment, one of the equipment was basically a hook to stop, to kind of like stop it and also to break, I guess. And so he had the hook in. Well, it came out and it came behind him. And I think it scraped like basically his like back of his head and the front of his face
Oh my gosh.
from it. And to be honest, I don't even remember exactly like what eye problem he ended up having from it. It was just like such a freaky story because of that hook coming like at his head, you know? And yeah, I don't even remember because it was a while ago that happened. So
That is so, I've heard so many like injuries happen, especially even during COVID, that yeah, some of these things that people go through, I can never imagine that happening in real life. I can't even visualize it because it's just all of these type of injuries just they happen so fast in like the blink of an eye.
right.
And but his eyes weren't like he didn't come in for an eye exam from that injury, right?
They
Like did it
wanted,
actually scratch his eye as well? Like
I
with the
don't
rest
think
of his
I
face?
wanted, I'm pretty sure they wanted to check visual field, see if there's any visual field missing basically from the hit.
Yeah, the only like I don't think I mean aside from ICO, I can probably if I sit here for 3 hours, I'll probably remember like a crazy story from maybe a patient during ICO days. But oh yeah, it was the one Alex, the cataract patient we saw, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
was such a crazy story because of how calm the patient was. So it wasn't an outrageous story. I think it was just her reaction was so crazy to us. So, you know, we saw a patient, I think Alex saw a patient for a 1-day post-op cataract surgery. This was a female, maybe she was like in her 50s. Like
Yeah, I would say
she
I
wasn't
think
that,
50.
she was pretty young. So I think in Alex's chart in the first day post-op, she wrote that the patient wasn't taking the antibiotics or the steroid drops or any of the drops.
Right.
So then Alex, you know, documented a lot in the chart, you know, told the patient to take the drops. And oh, I think she didn't even pick up the drops from the pharmacy yet. So then in your chart, you wrote, sent the patient right away to the pharmacy, picked up the drops, put one in, and then told her to use it, you know, until whatever her next follow up. So she was scheduled for her 1 week follow up, but I saw her 2 days after Alex saw her because she came in for an emergency. And so she's just sitting in the waiting room before I pick her up and just with her sunglasses on with her husband or someone with her. And so she walks in and I'm like, okay, so what's bringing you in? Because you're not due until next week. So, you know, what's going on? And she's so calm, so chill. And she's just like, well, I got the eye drops for my surgery and I put them in. I put them in the day of when I saw the other doctors and the student. And then yesterday, I put in the antibiotic drop in my eye in the morning. And right when I put it in, my vision went like completely white. It was just like a whiteout. And it never really got better. So I waited and I waited. And now today it's still white. So I'm here. And I was like, okay. And she was just really calm. So I was like, I mean, any pain or anything? She's like, I'm in so much pain. I can't even open up my eye. And I'm like, okay. So I kind of like take off her sunglasses. I'm like, I don't know. It's clearly it doesn't sound like it's that bad. She's probably just blurry, you know, probably corneal edema, whatever. And she takes off her glasses. Her eyes like completely shut. She's tearing out of that eye. She can't even open it to do VAs, nothing. So I just shut all the lights off. I get her in the slit lamp. I think I only opened her eye for like a millisecond and she shut it right away. And all you can see is like a snow globe in her eye. Like it's just snowing and her cornea is
My
so
God.
swollen. And I did VAs on her with the after I put in Preparacaine. And she covered up the non-cataract surgical eye. And I'm like, so what do you see? And she's like, everything's white. And she's still calm. She's not panicking. She's just like, everything's white. And I was like, okay. And I go to Dr. Boss, Eric Boss, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, so how's the post-op patient? I'll chill and whatever. And I'm like, I think she has endophthalmitis. And he's like, no, she doesn't. That's so rare. She probably just has like a uveitis. I'm like, no, you should come in and look. And I told him like all the symptoms. And he ran in and he was like, okay, Amrit, I'm going to need you to go call the cataract surgeon or go call retina, call everybody because she needs to go to ophthalmology ASAP. She has severe endophthalmitis and she probably won't keep that eye. So we need to take her. And we're explaining this to her and she's so chill. Like she's just like, oh, so I have to go see another person now? Like, are they going to fix my vision? Like, is it going to come back? And I was like, I think I told Alex a story after, and me and her, we're just freaking out. We're like, how did this happen? How is she so calm?
Yeah.
I think that was pretty crazy.
That's
was the craziest emergency I've ever
I think
experienced.
that
remember
popped
this
like all of
now.
us.
Yeah,
Pardon?
I think I remember you talking about this
Yeah,
when we were
you
in
did
school
tell
because
us
you were
about
like,
this.
I saw this case. Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
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 Because with ICO, they would even have patients, or at least the surgical center, they would have patients start the antibiotic before surgery,
Yeah,
even.
before surgery, and she didn't pick them up.
No. And like the
Yeah.
thing was, I was like, you were told multiple times, like by us, by
Yeah.
them, like it was documented. I was like,
Yeah. And I remember Dr. Boss was like looking at the previous charts too, like, good Lord, please tell me that they documented everything.
yeah.
Wait, but did
And
she
I was
end
like,
up
yeah,
losing
no,
her
it really
eye?
was.
Or did she
Pardon?
end up losing her eye?
We never saw her again.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that
we
was
don't know.
near like middle to the end
It
of
was
that.
the end of our rotation
Yeah.
too, so we didn't see her back.
Right.
Rav, the fact that you first asked that question, like what's the craziest like emergency story we've ever had? I kind of want to know what's the most ridiculous or just really out there myth that your patients have asked you, like, is this true? Or like some misconception about vision that they've brought up in your exam room that you're just like, "Ugh, really?
My glasses are gonna make me dependent on needing glasses.
Oh my God. We could
Yeah,
talk about that
I-
all day.
Yeah.
I read you're the one who told me this during ICO, where patients actually believed that we put prescription like
Medicine.
medicine in the
Their lenses.
lenses.
Because we call it a prescription.
We call it a prescription. So when Amrit told me this the first time, I was like, shit, I never realized.
You know
but
what?
like,
I agree with Rav. Like
Yeah.
when you first said this, I was like, no way. But go ahead, Rav. Say what you're
Yeah.
going to say.
and then Amrit asked me, like, it was like second or third year, and I was like, no way. And it happened to be a couple of times
Yeah.
at ICO where the patient's like, oh, you need to change the prescription, like
the medicine in my
The
glasses
medicine.
isn't working
Yeah.
anymore.
I think you have to increase the dosage of the medicine in the glasses.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, what Amrit was
Yep.
saying is right.
Yeah.
I know. I had it twice after she said that because I also was like, there's no one. I think you misunderstood what they may have said. And then I heard the same thing, Rav. And then I was like, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? And then they were like, the medicine in my glasses, you need to
Or it's like
change
done
that
or something.
Yeah, or it's like you
Medicine
need
is
to
done.
add more or
Yeah.
add less. And then I just like my eyes were getting all shifty. And then I started to smile and I was like, yes, I will
Yeah.
do that for you. Like, what are you gonna say? I don't know. I was just like, okay.
But yeah, what Alex, what you said, oh my gosh, I think I have to discuss that with patients 5 times every single day. Every
Mhm.
single day.
Or I get a lot of when with early presbyopes, how their near vision just decreases suddenly. and they start freaking out when they come to the eye doctor.
Yeah.
Literally like a 40-year-old hyperope be like, okay, I don't know what happened. My vision just disappeared at near, like gone. And I'm like, what do you mean gone? And they're like, no, I mean like it's blurry, but it just happened like last night. And I'm like, okay. They're like, there's something wrong. Like those pictures you took, there's something wrong back there. I have cancer. There's something wrong. And I'm like, yes, I understand. Like it's going to be, I'll explain everything here. It's going to be okay. And yeah, so that's one of my biggest ones too.
Those are like very common ones that I think we all get that. Everyone listening to this probably has to explain so many times presbyopia, and then also just no, you are not going to be dependent on the glasses. However, if your vision is clearer in the glasses or your symptoms get better with the glasses, then of course your brain will like the better option. So why wear tight shoes when you have a comfortable pair? You're going to wear those instead because you don't want blisters on your feet. Like that's the only difference.
Yeah.
But like I had some interesting ones. The first one, we are going to talk about this particular patient of mine on another episode for our next season. So stay tuned for a whole different reason. But, I had a patient who thought that insulin treatment for diabetes was a conspiracy theory. And the injections, the Eylea injections for diabetic retinopathy is just a money-making scheme for doctors, even though it's free for the patient in Canada, at least, to receive these injections. I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's free. So
as long as I have a health card.
Yes. Yeah. So I had that one. And then another common one that I'm actually getting with a lot of South Asian patients, because I had no idea, there's a superstition or some sort of theory out there that your vision gets worse when you have dark circles under the eyes. And I've had 5 people within the last month ask me how to fix their dark circles because they want their vision to stay the way it is and not get worse. And I was like, y'all need to see dermatology for that. That's out of that's not in my scope.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get some retinol cream, put on some sunscreen. I don't know. And then
I don't think I've ever heard that one before.
I've never heard about this in my life. Okay. And if anyone's not watching the IGTV, I am Indian. I have brown skin. I have never heard in my life that people really believe that if you have dark circles, that means your vision is bad, or like your eyesight is getting worse because you have dark circles under the eyes. And I've had 5 patients tell me in a month that they're like, they say, aren't you worried? Like, doesn't this concern you? Look at my dark circles. Look at the darkness under my eyes. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't know.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like a video somebody made and the parents forwarded it to everyone. Now everyone has this video of like misinformation where they're probably like, to know if your eyesight is bad, check the skin underneath your
dark circles.
Darkness. The darker it is, the more prescription you have, and all these patient all these
it's blowing my mind.
Yeah.
No, people are growing up with this because they'll say, oh, in childhood, when I was at school, I had dark circles and I couldn't see. And I was like, well, you can see now. Put your glasses on. I don't know. Here, let me fix you. That's a crazy one that I've heard like recently. I don't know.
I've had one patient. So she's like very like nature-y type, like, like that, the
I had
vibe.
Granola.
And she came in and she's like, oh, I do like all these exercises for my eyes and I don't need any prescription at all. And she's like
-9, isn't she?
no. So she's actually an emmetrope, but
I have a -9 that said that.
But she's like a presbyope, right? Like she's beginning like an early presbyope. So now she needs glasses. But like she had this whole theory. She's like, oh, I do all these exercises and never need glasses. But she was in denial. Like she couldn't read. And I'm like, I put some prescription in her. I'm like, can you read now? She's like, yeah, I can read. But then when I told her you need glasses to read, she's just in denial.
Like,
she's like, no.
I don't
I do
need
my
them.
exercises. I went my whole life doing them. I'm completely fine. I don't need glasses. I'm like, why are you here then?
You know what you
No,
sound like, Rav? You
Yeah.
sound like that guy on TikTok who's doing
Yep.
all those IKEA retail videos.
Yep.
Where
Yes.
it's like,
Yes, those are the most
Yeah.
amazing videos. There's another
should
one
do
where
that.
you know when you go to a store and you're like browsing and then
Yeah.
someone just says, "Oh, hi, how are you?" and you're like, "Oh, I'm just like browsing, it's fine." And then the guy's like, "I was just saying hi. You think
Hi.
I want to
Do
come
you-
over and talk to you? You
Yeah.
think I want to do that? No, bitch." And
it's like,
you're like,
remember
"I'm
the
just trying to
sale
be
one?
a decent human being and say hi
remember
to
the
you."
sale one where he's like, it was on sale last week. Well, it's not today. When does it ever end, Diane? When does it end? Do you want the sale
The
from
only-
1987? Because
Yeah.
it's not there anymore. Like, okay, yeah, that's what you sound like, Rav. Like when you
Oh,
when you're
okay.
talking about the patient.
I had one patient, so
As you do the eye roll of
Oh,
contempt.
yeah, I was annoyed. So this was during the pandemic. I mean, like, well, you know, whatever, but it was like near the beginning of the pandemic, I should say. So he comes in as an emergency, and he proceeds to take 15 minutes to tell me how he doesn't like how it takes so long in the office. I see him as an emergency. He gets there late. I still
Yep.
see him. I fit him in the schedule. And then he tells me how much he doesn't like how, like, it wasn't that appointment, but like the appointments in the past, how, well, why do I have to be like, I shouldn't have to be here 2 to 3 hours. I don't want to just be here all the time. And I was like, yeah, I was like, we try to work in emergencies like you so that we can help everyone we can. So sometimes it might take a little bit longer. And I was just like, are you? So basically, this older man sat there and bitched at me for 15 minutes about an appointment I didn't even do. And I was like, like, and I didn't, I was very like pleasant about it. I wasn't rude, but I was just like, we try to help everyone we can. And
Yeah.
sometimes emergencies like kind of get in the way. We don't schedule emergencies like
Mhm.
yours.
Yeah.
Today.
Well, I
Usually
love
my-
that too. They're the ones that are chatting you up the whole time. So
Yeah.
yeah, why do you think you're here for an hour? You
Yeah.
didn't let me check VAs. God damn.
And
But
like
usually-
most of the patients are great. They know it takes a little bit longer because we
Yeah.
do spend more
That's
time
what I
with
was
them.
gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the
and
time,
so-
emergencies are like so thankful. They're like, "Oh my god, thank you for fitting me in," or whatever, and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But
What would be the title of your memoir?
Mine would probably be never did anything easy or
Ooh.
always had bad timing because we graduate freaking optometry school. There's a pandemic. Yeah, that kind
And
of
the
bitch,
book
we
gets
could have
released,
graduated
like-
in 2020 and still be jobless right now.
My dad looked at me, I think it was like 6 months ago or like 8 months ago, and he's like, you have like the worst timing with or like you don't do things like the easy way. I was like, it's not my fault. I was like,
Yeah.
That's life.
It's all
literally
timing.
life.
yeah, but yeah.
Okay, I have a really good one for Rav.
Thank you.
Rav's
Yeah.
memoir would be half a sentence and then cut off.
Oh,
Because we always cut her off. She'd be like,
Yo,
all
Rav,
the
you're too
people, like-
slow. You're too slow with your
oh my
sentences.
god.
Everyone's trying to get airtime, man. In life, in your life,
I'm sorry, but it's too good.
there's no time. There's no time.
It's too good. Rav's literally would be like, to all the people
Yeah.
at dot.
Amrit and I
It's
have
like
been
me
cutting
saying
off
a
Rav
sentence and
since
it's just dot, dot, dot,
2015.
Is it my memoir, the title of my exactly what just happened?
Yeah.
Rav's memoir would be like, to all the people dot. Sorry, wait, what?
Oh my god.
All right, here's the end of our 5th happy hour episode. But we
And
do
the end of our
have.
drinks.
Oh yes,
Oh, finished.
our drinks
All
are almost done as well. Woo! Good job, guys. But we're excited, even though this season is coming to an end. We will be back the fall of this year with brand new episodes for you guys. We have so many new topics we're going to be covering with so many awesome guests, including our own episodes. And again, if you guys have any ideas or any suggestions, please DM us, email us. message us. We'd be so happy to hear your suggestions because we always take them into consideration. But yeah, that's it for this episode. And it was fun hanging out with all you guys and all of you guys listening.
Yep. All right. Peace out until next time.